First, though, this the whole set of claims that the president has made, right, which as we went through, the El Paso Times has gone through the data from the city and from the FBI and found are false. They simply don't hold true. So let's go to the ground now with Ed Lavandera, who went to investigate out front in El Paso.
Maynard Haddad doesn't mince words when it comes to President Trump and his hometown. He owns H&H Car Wash Cafe, the only place in El Paso where the customer is always wrong, even a president. Why do you think Trump is saying the things about El Paso that he's saying?
Because he knows what the hell he's talking about.
Maynard's Cafe opened in 1958. You can get a car wash and chili rellenos while you wait. And while we waited, Haddad told us he voted for Trump and didn't hold back his thoughts on the rest. You've never felt unsafe here?
Oh, hell no.
He keeps repeating that El Paso used to be this horribly dangerous place.
Yeah, well, then he needs to go to school.
President Trump has falsely claimed El Paso's wall along the Rio Grande dramatically changed this border town.
The border city of El Paso, Texas, used to have extremely high rates of violent crime. A wall was put up. It went from being one of the most dangerous cities in the country to one of the safest cities in the country overnight.
That's just not true. El Paso has never been one of the most dangerous places in America. Crime statistics show violent crime was dropping for many years before the wall was built in 2008, and crime actually jumped a little after the wall was built.
You don't feel like the president is trashing El Paso?
I don't think so.
But some El Paso Republicans like Adolfo Telles say Trump is still right about what a border wall can do to cut down crime and threats.
If you were living in that house and you know that there are illegal people wandering around your house at 2 o'clock in the morning, is that a serious crime from your perspective? People just get quiet when you put it that way.
Sylvester Reyes is a former Democratic congressman of El Paso and spent nearly 30 years as the top Border Patrol agent along this stretch of the border. He remembers when a simple chain link fence was the border wall.
It was ineffectually referred to as the tortilla curtain.
Reyes says there's enough border wall already in place, and he says the president is lying to make the case for more. When you hear the president say El Paso used to be one of the most dangerous cities in the country before the wall,
he's full of it. This is my home, and he's mischaracterized El Paso as kind of Wild West and a violent, crime-ridden area until the fence went up, and that's totally false.
Maynard Haddad will be paying close attention from his car wash, and he left us with one last warning for President Trump. If President Trump comes here and repeats the exact same thing that we know is wrong, how's that going to go over in this town?
Not real smart. Not real smart. He better go back to where he belongs, back east.
And Aaron, the gathering you see behind me is the rally already starting to take shape. Beto O'Rourke and his family have just arrived. They're expected to leave this area, march along the international boundary and the border fence that already exists here in El Paso, about a mile-long march. And then Beto O'Rourke is supposed to take the stage and give a speech about the same time the president will be beginning his remarks here in the city of El Paso tonight. Aaron?
All right. Thank you very much, Eddie, and more on that in a moment. I want to go now, though, to the member of the Border Security Conference Committee. It's a small bipartisan group of senators and congresspeople who are trying to find an agreement so that there is not a shutdown in the next 4 days. Democratic Congressman David Price joins me, and I appreciate your time, Congressman. Look, I understand that the meeting just finished, that there's going to be another meeting again at 8 o'clock tonight. Obviously, if there is no agreement, the government's going to shut down at the end of the week. It appeared to be at an impasse over this weekend. What do you think is going to happen? Are we going to have a shutdown or not?
Well, I certainly hope not, and I had thought up until recently that the Republicans were equally determined, but now you have the President's Chief of Staff saying a shutdown is a very real possibility, and actually over the weekend the Senate Republicans stopped negotiating. They're trying to still hold that over us. I don't think the American people want this at all. We have been negotiating, we thought, in good faith, but they pulled the plug, and only now are we getting back to some of these issues. But this has been tough all along. Nobody should think it's not going to be tough.
So, when you say they pull the plug and now these issues, one of them, at least so far as I understand it, is the number of ICE detention beds. And to some people watching, they may say, well, why is that so important? Well, it matters. Right now, there are about 40,520 to be exact. Trump wants 52,000. Democrats, my understanding is, want less, around 35,000. And here's what Mitch McConnell had to say about why he cares so much.
House Democrats decided to add a poison pill demand into the conversations at the 11th hour. It's a new demand. It's really extreme. This would result in the release of thousands of criminal aliens.
When he says this would result in the release of thousands of criminal aliens if you cut that number of beds, what's your response, Congressman?
My response is that is just absolutely untrue. The president said the same thing. The president said this was a new issue that was thrown out. My goodness, we've been debating enforcement policy and the number of detention beds and what that implied for enforcement policy. Been debating that a decade. And it's certainly been an issue throughout this whole period of discussion. So it's just an incredible deception to say that this is a new issue that we've thrown up. This has been an issue with us a long time, and honestly, it's been more of an issue for us over the years than the idea of a wall.
Which is fascinating. Yeah. Can I just ask you that the ICE deputy director today went a little bit further than even Senator McConnell. He said, Congressman Price, we're going to be release people convicted of domestic violence and drug crimes. We're going to be releasing gang members. Is any of that true, or are they just making that up?
They're making it up. It is absolutely untrue. In fact, if you look historically at this, it is Democrats, and I know because I was part of the Democratic New Leadership Group as chairman of the Homeland Security Committee that came in 2007. It was Democrats that insisted, both in the Bush administration and the Obama administration, that enforcement be targeted on precisely dangerous criminals, people who posed a threat to the community.
So you would go through and sort. So the people who are getting released, you're going to check first.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. But we've just had an experience in North Carolina that indicates just how far off the rails this has gone. 200 people picked up, looks like more or less at random, in a direct retaliation, as the administration said, to local policies to concentrate on local law enforcement. So enforcement is a problem, and indiscriminate raids are a problem. And the number of beds they have available for interior enforcement does have an implication for that. That's what we're trying to get at. But we're the ones who have insisted that enforcement be focused on these dangerous people.
All right. Well, Congressman Price, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you.